Hello and welcome back to another video here in the LEGO Room. I hope you're well. Today we're going to do something very, very exciting indeed. It's not a build, it's not a mock. We're going to do some cleaning here in the LEGO Room. Please do not turn the video off because hopefully it will be a video of interest to you if, like me, you've been procrastinating on buying a brick vacuum for some time. I've seen these for a year or two and I thought maybe it's a fad, maybe it'll sort of fade or pass in time, but eventually for a very, very low price, I did grab one of these. I caved, I got one. Quite frankly, as nice as some of the backdrops you'll see in some of these videos are in the LEGO Room, it is a chore to try and keep my LEGO clean and dust free, and I eventually caved and grabbed one of these for a very low price. And whilst some of these sort of set backdrops do look really nice, I know there is a ton of dust on that burrow and on the micro scale Hogwarts as well. So we're going to do a little bit of cleaning today. We're going to do some before and after shots as well, so we can see whether or not this is actually worth the money and indeed what all the hype is actually about. And we're going to start off with the micro scale Hogwarts build. Now this is a really nice set. It sits next to my office, next to my laptop on a daily basis, and I have let it go to a bit of a ruin. You can see the dust on the outside on the black trim, as well as on the translucent tiles, and the sand green and sand coloured tiles all have a bit of residue and a bit of dust on top of it as well. And all these little 1 and 2 stud tiles are basically a haven for dust. So let's take this dust vacuum out for a little bit of a test drive and see if we can't improve the condition of Hogwarts micro scale build. Now you can see from the time-lapsed footage as well that I have had a little bit of difficulty with this because of the amount of 1 and 2 stud pieces that do just fall off when you are applying pressure with the vacuum cleaner. Now I'm hoping it really picks up on camera, and I might try and render this in 4K just to improve the quality of the footage, but it has really improved at least the translucent tiles on the floor as well as the black trim. Anything where the dust is really noticeable. As you go into the sort of rocky pieces and the greenery, you can also see that the residue has come off, and I've deliberately used the same shot there of the sort of trip down to the boathouse at the bottom there, because you can see there is no longer any dust residue on those particular tiles. Are those the kind of things that could have came off with an old-fashioned duster? Quite possibly, but it was rather easy to do. What I did struggle with, however, is the actual Hogwarts building, where you've got 1 and 2 stud pieces that would just come off when you applied pressure with the vacuum. So the vacuum cleaner seems to work all in all. However, it did create a little bit of difficulty when it came to the smaller pieces falling off. Let's move on now to the burrow as well, a larger set that was built and bought on September the 1st, and one that has decided to start collecting dust. And admittedly, I haven't really dusted it in the entire time that I've had it, which is probably a good example to use. You've got some dust in the cracks and crevices at the very start of the burrow, and you'll also be able to see some on the tiling as well. Those red bricks really point out where there is dust on this particular build. And as you can see, a really nice effect created. Now, I would argue that this hasn't been quite as effective as the Hogwarts build. You can still see there are a little smattering of dust every so often. Quite frankly, that could be because I didn't give it enough time or attention or enough focus. But all in all, you can see most of the dust has come off. There's a speckle here on the pig's pen, and there is 1 or 2 speckles still on the roof of the building as well. Now, a point of note as we look over the footage of the rest of the burrow, and you can see that for the most part the dust has come off almost all of the burrow. There's a speckle here and there, and that's probably because I didn't pay it enough attention. But part of the reason for that is the fact that the vacuum is now on charge. It needed to go on charge after having done these 2 sets, and of course I had done a couple of little bits and pieces in the Lego room prior to this. So whether it's got a short battery life or indeed it's because I had been messing about with it, it's probably a combination of the 2 things. It's certainly something to be aware of. The battery life appears on the face of it to not be particularly great, at least at the beginning. On to possibly my favourite set that I have in my collection, which is probably a random choice for some people, but sentimentally for me, the Ghost has a lot of sentimental value, and I absolutely love this 2023 model. I got it on release day, and quite frankly, I'll be surprised if I have actually cleaned it more than once since last September. So let's put the brick vacuum to good use here and be plenty careful with it as well, just to make sure I don't lose any small parts on it when I apply force with the bristles. And as you can see, for the most part, all of the dust has lifted off it. It's something that is quite obvious with a white ship or a white building. Any sort of white, we will see any of the darker speckles of dust, and I am pretty pleased with the way it has turned out. And you'll be able to see as well on the cockpit and on all of the plastic glass pieces that there is no longer any dust on there. So I am really pleased with the outcome. This is the kind of thing that I think the brick duster will be really useful for. It'll be for ships, things that aren't going to really fall apart when you apply pressure to them, UCS sets, bigger sets, and things that don't have quite so many small pieces. This vacuum has been a really good addition to the Lego room for the price that I got it for, which was less than £10. So it is a really good piece of kit. I do think they're worthwhile grabbing if you can grab them for the right price. I think they are worth getting a hold of. I wouldn't go and break the bank for one old-fashioned dusting. Whilst it is inconvenient and potentially annoying, it is possibly still the way to go. And that's it for today's video, but stay tuned on the channel. We've got a ton of stuff coming up. We've got backlog sets to build before the festive season. We've got special videos just for the festive season and a giveaway in time for Christmas as well. I have a ton of sets to continue building, so I'm going to crack on with those, but don't forget to follow or subscribe so you don't miss any LEGO goodness coming over the next couple of weeks.